So we all heard about the news. I mean, how could you not? Every single news station was milking this. As long as there was oxygen, there was hope, which I suppose is a very human thing to happen. And listen, I don't have a problem with, people throwing jokes, dark humor. I'm a big defender of dark humor, and that's how some people actually process loss or some negative shit that is happening. When people have any intention to make others laugh, I don't have a lot of problems with that, no matter how dark, how morbid something might be. In fact, I might be judged for this, but I already retrieved part of the submarine. I was able to get their steering system. I'm joking, but I was not the one who put an actual fucking controller, controlling a submersible that is supposed to cost $250,000 for each occupant. And like I said, we all can joke, I don't have a problem with that, okay? But there's a lot of people. So, I'm gonna be admitting a lot of them are on the left-leaning side of the political spectrum, but I'm not really interested in that shit. Who does it, and who do they identify as when it comes to the politics and shit? All I know is that obviously when I see, Facebook left-leaning pages celebrating this shit as if it was the greatest thing to happen this year, they're not throwing jokes, they're just literally happy that some billionaires died at the bottom of the ocean. And that place ain't no Bikini Bottom, I'm gonna tell you that much. I do have to say, when people are being serious and being seriously happy about this, or so, I guess, cold about it, it strikes a nerve a little bit there. Because sure, one of the guys is a CEO. Like I said, he's the one who had the fucking idea for a controller as a steering system, and then said that, 50-year-old white guys are not inspirational, especially with military experience, because you don't need that kind of shit to dive a submarine that is not even capable, or is not even equipped to reach such depth. But, fuck all that experience. You can do it with a steering system that is something that you can buy on Amazon for $30. I can understand you judging that guy, because even though we can still feel sorry for him because he died, he pretty much doomed the life of other 4 people. But a lot of people are pretending like all 5 guys here went to the bottom of the ocean to find and reinstate the Third Reich or some shit. Dude, they're billionaires. They're not dictators, okay? They went down there because they wanted to see the Titanic. What is there to see? I'll admit, just fucking metal. I would not get myself into that fucking capsule even if you paid me. But their intention wasn't anything that was like, oh my god, typical billionaire move. It's a fucking sank boat that they wanted to check out. The same way we check out Auschwitz. That shit is fucking dark, but people want to be cultured, I suppose, to know what happened. And I understand, especially in these left-leaning Facebook pages, because, people from the left is not a problem, but when they join Facebook pages, there's a certain profile of people there that I do not like personally. But I saw a lot of that shit. People saying it's natural selection, even though I don't understand that point. If it was a team of 5 scientists going to the bottom of the ocean to research about the Titanic, you would have a bleeding heart all of a sudden. That to me makes no sense. Like I said, they didn't go down there to exploit something, to make money out of something. Maybe the CEO, like I said, I'll allow you to criticize that shit, because that guy cut corners just so he could profit. He said that safety was not a concern. I understand that. But the 4 other people were not in the same boat. Terrible selection of words. It is not a boat, technically. But they were not in the same, they most likely didn't even have the information that we have right now. And that's another point that I like to highlight, how all these people are like about natural selection. Oh, if you're gonna pay $250,000 to go see the Titanic, then you would expect to be smart enough to research about the thing that you're gonna go down with. But here's a reality: when most of you motherfuckers, let's translate this into a more of a non-billionaire perspective. When you buy a car, and you can have actually a nice budget, like $20,000 or whatever, you're not gonna research the whole history of that vehicle's model, the company, and all that kind of shit. Hell, ordinary people were buying the Ford Pinto, and that car was literally fucking exploding on impact. And even though it was recalled at some point, people were still buying that shit up until that point. That scandal was happening live in real time, and people were still buying the Ford Pinto. What makes you think that all of a sudden billionaires are outside of that consideration? That you felt bad for people who might have gotten injured or killed or whatever by a Ford Pinto, but then all of a sudden this is hilarious and funny. Again, jokes are one thing. Laughing about something serious when there's no punchline or whatever the fuck, you just honestly find it funny. That's where I draw the line and I say that's a little bit fucking stupid. So don't come with that old bullshit that you know after the fact and judge them as if they already had the information that we have right now. We had a lot of news stations, a lot of reports to rely on. That whole lawsuit that Ocean Gate, the company from the submersible, that went through because one guy that did work for them said this shit is a death trap and this is gonna happen at some point. They sued the guy. Most likely, the guys who are gonna be customers are not going to know about this case. No company is going to advertise their once settled lawsuit. And then, like I was saying, when you buy a car, you don't research that far back. If you don't do that with a car that you literally trust with your life on high-speed highways, then the same applies to a millionaire or billionaire that, sure, he spends $250,000, but what is $250,000 to a billionaire? It's not the same thing as us. Like I said, it would be comparable maybe to us spending $20,000 on a car. So let's not go with this stupid shit of saying natural selection, of presenting billionaires as like the ones that deserve all this. Because being curious about something that, sure, it's a very snob thing to do. You know, spending so much money to see the Titanic. I would even say ironic to spend that much money to go down to a fucking boat that literally sank, okay? If that doesn't yell bad karma, I don't know what does. But still, realistically, they couldn't, they have to sign a waiver, they know this is possible, but the same way that you'd feel sad about someone who went parachuting like usual, but it happened that one day that chute didn't open, you would feel sad about that shit. I just don't understand this idea that people have of billionaires. Like, there can be a lot of assholes, billionaires and all that, but people literally saying on Facebook comments saying that they're bad people. You didn't know them, motherfucker. Like, why are you saying that shit? It's just weird to me that society all of a sudden treats, like, billionaires treating people below, like they're below themselves, you know, like that's bad, but then all of a sudden we doing that shit to them, it's fine. You can't be the evil that you try to fight. You think billionaires are smug little assholes, then don't be a smug little asshole. But I guess we can take comfort, I suppose, that, you know, they died by an implosion, right? Which is actually even faster than an explosion. That shit can happen in 30 milliseconds. So even though it is a more gruesome death because literally every single organ that you have in your body behaves like a balloon that gets deflated, it just collapses on itself. At the very least, that is a quick death. No matter how gruesome it sounds, it was for the best. I mean, it's better than suffocating under the sea. Because even if you pop that door open, which you most likely couldn't, because at some point, as soon as you do that, you're gonna get a huge pressure differential and you're gonna die either way. But even if that was possible, they would have to swim for 12 hours, something like that. It's a lot of fucking sea to swim, and they would die either way. They would die suffocated, they would die drowned, they would die in a lot of situations, a gruesome death. But at the very least, they went out very quickly. And I don't know, maybe I'm the odd guy here, but I don't really think that them being billionaire changes a fucking thing. I understand there might be a lot of people who, because they have money problems throughout their entire life, they can't have the same empathy feeling for someone who they think never had problems in their life, most likely. And that's the situation for a lot of billionaires. They were broke at some point. In fact, them being broke is what motivated them to be billionaires at some point. But even without knowing these people, being happy, saying that it's natural selection or just brushing it off, it's a tendency that I'm seeing on the internet that I really don't like. So kindly fucking stop.